Namaskar and good morning to you in Goa, India. I'm very thankful to Express Pharma to invite me to share some thoughts with you at this CXO Pharma Summit Beyond 2017. The insights that I want to share with you today deal with why I believe it's critically important for us to look at pharmaceutical traceability in a broader context, in the context of the experience economy. The three new US laws, the Food and Drug Safety Innovation Act, the Drug Quality and Security Act, and the 21st Century Cures Act, integrate to address many of the needs of the experience economy. What is this experience economy? At the beginning of the 21st century, the need for assurance the patients needed in quality was increasing exponentially. And our ability to provide the needed assurance was only increasing linearly, or as we have seen over the past several years, actually decrease with the high number of manufacturing related challenges, data integrity issues we have seen, and pose significant challenges. And to understand what I mean by experience economy, um, the economy moved from selling goods to services to experiences. Manufacturers became providers to stagers. iPhone and Steve Jobs is a very good example of how iPhone launches were staged in a way to create an experience that those who like iPhone experienced it in a positive way, that they became loyal customers. Standardized, customized, personal, user, clients, guests, or members, attributes, benefits, sensations. These are some of the stages of transformation we have seen in the economy, particularly dealing with goods and services outside pharma sector. Within pharma sector, I think clinical trials and their limitations were becoming apparent, and the 21st Century Cures Act requires FDA to utilize real world evidence to make decisions. And today, new drug development has become more focused on becoming patient centric and becoming personalized. So, this is really the transformations that are occurring in the experience economy, and assurance of quality is one of those experiences that have become very important. Experience and the gold standard. We have talked about the limitations of the clinical trials. These limitations were becoming apparent at the end of 20th century, and publications such as the one I have listed here, the double-blind, randomized, placebo-controlled trial, gold standard or golden calf, became quite significant. And over the years, the placebo and nocebo effects have been exploding. In this Forbes article, it says exploding in the US but nowhere else. I think that explosion of placebo and nocebo effect were noted initially in the US, but steadily these effects have spread all across the world in different rates. So, pharmacodynamics of placebo, price as a proxy for efficacy, nocebo effect, value effects in nocebo. Now we can actually think about the underlying mechanisms why nocebo and placebo effects happen. And these more recent articles, such as in Science and Neurology, have dealt with this topic in very rigorous ways. And as a result, Dr. Woodcock herself had to remind everyone in September 2017 that the clinical trial system is broken and there need to be new ways to collect and utilize patient data in the real world because experience matters today. In the case of generics, we have seen this also unfold in very interesting ways. In the US, for example, generics for me, but brand for you in a very negative way has remained with us ever since the generic drug scandal. And more recently, coinciding with the data integrity issues and other challenges that we have seen a burden of changes in pill appearance for patients receiving generic cardiovascular medications after myocardial infarction. That means if color or shape of generic tablets or capsules were changing, patients were stopping to take the medicine. So the whole idea of supporting cost-effective treatment was getting defeated, and FDA had to respond to remind the industry that size, shape, and other physical attributes of generic tablets and capsules matters. Pharmaceutical equivalence matters. Bioequivalence does not deliver therapeutic equivalence in and of by itself. And there were so many errors and mistakes happened that FDA had to recall, withdraw several products also because pharmaceutical equivalence matters. Now the challenge is, uh, for example, color. Color is a trademark. If FDA demands generics to have the same color, we will not have generics, as exemplified by the purple color debate and legal battles between Dr. Reddy's and AstraZeneca. So clearly, one can think about tightening pharmaceutical equivalence, but that's not a practical way of doing things. I think we have to replenish the assurance lost and to create the right experience of having a generic drug so that you don't have a nocebo effect or you don't have adherence problems and so forth. So that's an example, a practical example of what I mean by experience and assurance go hand in hand today. But more importantly, the way we pay for medicine has been a significant challenge, especially the new drugs. And over the last 17 years, the US healthcare system is steadily moving towards pay for performance. So, quality metrics for doctors, quality metrics for hospitals, publicly disclosing these metrics as a way to improve healthcare. Outcome-based pricing for medicines in relation to clinical outcome has been a theme that has been evolving over the past almost a decade. So today, for example, the new Novartis drug approval is being charged at $475,000 per outcome if only the therapy is success is works. And this is an agreement between Novartis and the CMS to pay for it only if it works. And for these value-based pricing to work, we'll need to eliminate many of the silos of the healthcare system and reduce waste, but also bring a holistic approach. And it also means that failure rates, adherence failure, and other things for matter much more now. So within the healthcare system, we need an ability to track and trace where the errors occur for the outcome-based or value-based pricing to work. So in that sense, I think the traceability has much more important relevance just beyond just authenticating the right product. So totality of experience means authentic pharmaceutical products, real-time assurance of compliance, and to outcomes. That's the sequence that we have to cover. Patients and healthcare providers able to verify the authenticity of the dosage unit is a critical aspect of this. But going beyond that, personalized dose rate variance with reference to manufacturing information for that product unit in real time is where the system is moving towards. For example, today, with many of the modern process analytical technology tools, one can assess quality without destroying the tablet. One can know the content uniformity. One can assess the dissolution rate without having to do the dissolution rate in a predictive manner. So we are moving in that direction, that not only did the patient receive the authentic drug, it received the drug which had the right amount, the right rate, and you can actually match that. That's where we are going, and that would be needed for value-based pricing. Now, how would generics and biosimilars fit in there, I think, is an evolving question, but it will bring the same level of scrutiny for all these products as we move forward. So in that sense, Drug Supply Chain Security Act was passed as part of the Drug Quality Security Act. So drug quality security, supply chain security is a part of that. The other part dealt with compounding. So compounded drugs are also being moved in this same direction now. Immediate purpose of the Drug Supply Chain Security Act was to strengthen protections for patients so that they get authentic product only. So from a narrow viewpoint, serialization is just a process of printing and identifying number on product and shipping cases. That's too narrow. From a longer term view, it is the integration of a number of things. Serialization integrated with production lines, integrated with quality control procedures, so that the integrity of product and numbers or serialization numbers or identification are confidently assured. Further, the QC team can no longer simply remove an item from the line for testing. Serialization protocols require additional processes to allow for any sampling or disposable product once the number has been applied. So, as you think about this, how you approach serialization matters a lot. You can take two different paths moving forward. One, you can simply say, this is an added cost of compliance. What do I need to do to meet the minimal requirements? And some of the things that we often say, oh, we are waiting for FDA guidance. FDA is not likely to enforce it anytime soon. See, delayed enforcement again to November 2018. What is the minimum thing we need to do, and so forth? So here is an approach that is a cost, just added cost, no value added, is the way to think about that. But the other approach is, we're going to spend this money to have serialization. Why can't we do it in a way that it is not only improving the system, it is an opportunity to improve the system beyond compliance? How can we leverage this need to improve our ability to deliver assurance patients need today and tomorrow in this experience economy? Is really the fundamental aspect of the challenge at hand. And I think we need to think about this in that regard, because if you do so, then this is not just another thing that you have to comply with. This is something that becomes an opportunity to build your leadership, build the assurance for the patient needs in your products, in your brand, in your company. And that is going to be more and more important and necessary. Who makes the medicine I take has become a question in US, and for complex generics, biosimilars, and for all generics also. I think this will become a leveraging opportunity that one has to take advantage of. We can do the minimum, we can follow, be the followers, and make money, but we can also spend the same amount of money but do it in a way that sets the stage, that sets the path for us to be leaders, to meet the needs of the patients. I hope this was a useful perspective for you to think about, and I wish you would take this insight in that regard, that stepping back, think about this opportunity to serve the patients that becomes an important function of the company, of brand India, and to make India great again. To make in India great again, this is a wonderful opportunity. Thank you for listening.